welcome to Vlogmas Day 11. As you can see, today is going to be a sit-down video because all I'm doing today is taking an exam. And I have to work tonight, so nothing fun is going to be going on. But, as you can tell from the title, lost my train of thought, I have 8 things that I learned about myself and about life and just stuff that happened at camp that I want to talk about. So there's 8 things. Have them on a little notepad right here. So let's just get started. The first one, now this one has really surprised me because I didn't even think about this when I was going to camp, but now I think about it a lot. Bugs do not bother me. I can see a bug and just be like, oh, hey, chilling. A bug could land on me and I just won't care, at all. I would just pick it up, put it down. You catch me before I went to camp, I'd freak out, typical girl reaction. Also, I don't know what my hair is trying to do right now. Sorry about it. But since going to camp, I do not care about bugs. There were so many locusts at camp because it was locust, the 17th year locust season was this summer. They landed all over me all the time, and I learned to not be bothered. So bugs do not bother me whatsoever, which is something that really surprised me, and I didn't even think about that. However, one thing that I did think about was that I was not going to be able to sleep in all summer. And this is very true. I woke up between 7 and 7:30 every morning all summer. Even on the weekends, I would try to sleep in, and I would still wake up at 8 a.m. But it made me a morning person, and it makes getting up for class so much easier. I don't even think about it anymore. 7:30 is just a normal time for me to wake up, and it's pretty normal. Right now, I can sleep a lot because it's final season, so, sleep. But camp really made me a morning person because, you have to get up. You can't just not get up and get your campers up and, go to breakfast and stuff. So it definitely made me a morning person, which is awesome because I've always wanted to be a morning person. So that was really prime. I really loved it. So if you're looking to be a morning person, go work at a camp because you gotta get up. Another thing that has honestly really, really changed my life, it's something that I learned at camp, was how to live without your phone. We couldn't have our phones, especially during orientation, we couldn't have them for 3 days. And they were locked in a room and we couldn't access them because we were building community and a family, and that is something that I appreciate so much because before camp, I lived on my phone, and I had Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat, everything. I lived on my phone and I loved it, and I was constantly surrounded by what everyone else was doing, which also goes into another thing is that, without our phones, I learned how to live in the moment and really appreciate every single moment that I had with other counselors, my friends, other campers. It was so much fun, and to not be bound by an electronic device and social media was so freeing. And now at school, I don't have any social media on my phone besides Facebook because Facebook is how I keep up with a lot of sorority stuff and family stuff, so I kept that one, but I'm not on it a lot. And but other than that, I don't have any social media on my phone because I just don't need it. And camp taught me how to live in the moment, and now when I'm out to eat with people, I'm super aware of how much they're on their phone because I'm not on mine, and I really enjoy just having conversation or just sitting next to somebody even in silence. And I think that's a great lesson that camp has taught me. Not having my phone has been prime, so I really, really appreciate that. And even when we did have our phones, which was sometimes at night and then on the weekends, I really only talked to my mom and then other people at camp to see what we were doing. I would text my friends and be where are we meeting tonight so we can hang out for 2 hours, and then we would meet up, and then we would go to bed, and that was it. And we would hang out more in person than we would ever text, and I made a lot of genuine relationships in person rather than online, and that's something that I really appreciate. So having no phones, learning to live in the moment, perfect. Another funny thing I learned at camp is how to eat steamed vegetables. You don't get an option as to what you eat, really. And I chose vegetarian going into camp because I'm very particular about my meats, and so I didn't want to have to eat a meat that I didn't like, whatever. So I went vegetarian for the summer, and I had to eat a lot of steamed vegetables, and I hated steamed vegetables. I like raw vegetables, but I'm not a fan of mushy vegetables. Like, they're foul. Well, they were. They're not anymore. But I learned how to love myself some good carrots and broccoli with some tofu, because that was my meal, like, every Thursday. So learning how to eat steamed vegetables has really changed my life. It's really opened the door to a lot of vegetable options for me. It's great, but it's something I learned how to do this summer, and I really thank camp for that. And I know when I go back to camp next summer, I'm going to eat all of the vegetables, so great. As y'all know, I'm going to be an elementary education teacher, and coming into college, I knew that I wanted to teach the younger grades, like 1st and 2nd, because I honestly was terrified of the older grades. Like 4th and 5th grade, like, scared me. Wasn't a fan. And it made me really nervous because I haven't had a lot of experience. But this summer, I had 5th grade girls, and I had an area there was also boys in our area, but my cabin was just 5th grade girls. They were so much fun. Like, I wouldn't say they were my favorite cabin because I loved all of my cabins the same and very differently. But we had so much fun. Like, I've never laughed so hard. Like, they are so funny, and they made me realize that I do love that age group. And now I'm like really, really, I hope that I get placed in a 5th grade class when I student teach, because it's so much fun. They were so funny. I had such a great time with them. So I think that's awesome because it opened my eyes to, like, more possibilities in the workplace. So I am super happy about that. The last thing, or second to last thing that I learned at camp is that nobody cares what you look like. Like, I wore makeup twice this summer. One time for, like, the big summer event we have in the middle of the summer, I wore makeup. And then the second time was when I went to dinner with one of my friends. I wore makeup because we were like, let's just look really bougie for dinner tonight. So at Abby, we looked bougie. But, like, I know, like, my makeup and hair are done right now, but, like, how often is my hair and makeup done, Lindsay?
One every 4 days.
I say less. Like,
one every 6 days.
Every 6 days, I probably put like, a little bit of effort, but not a lot, because I just don't care. And, like, I never wore makeup. I maybe brushed my hair. Also, another thing about not caring about how you look, I would go from Saturday night to Tuesday without showering. And I do that now at school, and I don't really know why I do it at school, because I have access to a shower at every point. But, like, at camp, you don't have time to shower at those days at the camp I was, like, you do, but I would much rather sleep than shower. So I just got used to it, and then we would go to the pool, and so I'd be like, the pool, it's fine. I'm swimming, it's whatever. And I know that's so disgusting and, like, not how you should live in normal life, but honestly, like, I just don't care, and, like, I won't wear makeup, and I don't care. Like, I used to care a lot. Like, I was to the nines all the time, but now I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I met some of my best friends and, like, some really awesome people who didn't care what I looked like, and now they're some of my favorite people, and they don't care what I look like. I don't care what they look like. Like, they saw me crying, ugly, with a cold, sweating, all the time. Like, they don't care, I don't care, and it's great because we can be so real and authentic with each other, and there's not that barrier of, she always looks good all the time, like, oh my gosh. We don't have that because we were all a mess, and it was so wonderful. So, I just don't care what I look like anymore. And, like, obviously I put effort into my appearance, and I still love makeup, and that's still, like, one of my hobbies and stuff, but I just, living my life. I don't care. I roll out of bed and go to class. If I shower, it's a good day. But anyways, the last thing that I got out of camp was that you can find God's love in the smallest thing. Like, I worked at a Lutheran camp, and it was so centered in Christ that, like, it was in everything that we did. Like, you didn't have to think about it because it was there, and, like, it was so nice to be surrounded by that. And so now, being back at school, it's been really hard. It's been an adjustment, and, like, I talked to one of my friends about it, like, coming back from the first semester back from camp is hard. Like, it is so hard because you go from this place where everybody finds God's love and everything to a place that, like, sometimes people don't even talk about God during the day, which is so weird, because it's such a big part of my life and my life this summer. But, like, these kids that I had this summer, like, could find God's love in everything that we did. Like, we could be walking up the biggest trail for the 7th time that day, and my girls would be like, this is great. God gave me legs. God gave me lungs. Like, this is awesome. Like, they were ready, and they just showed me that, like, God's love is everywhere, and His joy is everywhere, and His goodness is there. You just have to be the one to look for it and to say it and to be like, you know what, this is good. Like, finals is good. Like, I have the, like, privilege of going to the best university in South Carolina, and finals are going to be great because that means it's another semester done, one semester closer to graduation. Like, it is good, and that is something that camp has taught me, is how to find God's love in everything that I do. So I think that's awesome. So yeah, that was just my rambly thoughts about camp this summer. Reunion is coming up in, like, less than a month, and I'm so pumped to see all my friends and, like, go back to my favorite place on earth. It's going to be so great. And I filled out my application for camp again last week, so it's been on my mind a lot, but I'm really excited, and I just thought I'd share this with you because literally all I did today was wake up, go on a run, do a workout, shower, and then I got ready, and now we have an exam in an hour. So here we go. I will see you guys for day 13 of Vlogmas.